Hollywood loves teen heartthrobs as long as they stay safe, pretty, silent, and easy to project onto. But these 10 stars did the one thing the industry and the internet hate most. They got honest in real life. From too gay to cast whispers, to death threats and label policing, this episode isn't about shock. It's about the price of being seen. Turn the volume up. Silent Fame starts now. 1. Cooper Koch. The too gay voice they tried to silence. Before the world knew his name, it knew his face, the sharp jawline, the soft-eyed intensity, the kind of pretty boy magnetism that turns timelines into thirst traps with one question. Who is that? Then monsters landed, and suddenly Cooper Koch wasn't just a heartthrob, hooray. He was a headline. But here's the part Hollywood never puts in the trailer. Before the breakout, an acting teacher told him the reason he wasn't booking was because he had a gay voice. Cooper later confirmed that comment publicly. Not because he wasn't talented, not because he wasn't leading man handsome, because he sounded too queer for the fantasy they sell. Imagine being told your own voice, the thing that carries your truth, is the reason doors won't open. That's not feedback. That's a warning. Shrink, soften, disappear. So he did what young actors learn to do when the room wants a lie. He performed around it, not just on camera, in the waiting rooms, in the tone of his laugh, in the way he held back parts of himself so he could be castable. And when the fame hit, the pressure didn't disappear. It evolved. Now it's not just casting rooms, it's the internet. It's strangers acting like your private life is public property. He kept his relationship mostly quiet, then made a red carpet debut with his boyfriend, and the crowd immediately did what the crowd always does. Zoom in, ring watch, decode every photo like it's evidence. He even had to clarify that a ring people obsessed over was a sentimental piece from his grandfather, not a secret engagement. What makes it tragic is also what makes it cinematic. To play Eric Menendez, Cooper said he listened to Eric's recordings constantly, night after night, until the cadence lived in his bones. So while the world thirsted over the body, he was chasing the bruises underneath the story, begging the audience for empathy, not just curiosity. They tried to label him too gay to book. Now the whole world can't stop watching. Drop your take. Would you ever change your voice to get the role? Comment below and hit subscribe. Silent Fame doesn't do fairy tales. We do receipts. 2. Hunter Doohan, the heartthrob who had to hide to be seen. On screen, Hunter Doohan is the kind of pretty that makes danger look romantic. The boy next door smile with a storm behind it. Wednesday turned him into a global crush, and suddenly the same face that played sweet and psycho in one breath was pinned to a million edits, slowed down, sharpened, and thirsted over like a secret. But off-screen, the secret wasn't lust. It was fear. Hunter has said that back in the early grind, during a particularly scrutinizing network test for Your Honor, he archived photos of himself with his partner on Instagram. Not because he was ashamed of love, but because he was terrified of the industry reading gay and silently closing the door. Picture that. Deleting proof of your happiness so strangers with clipboards won't judge you. You're out in real life, yet still rehearsing how to go back in the closet for a job. That's the quiet torture of Hollywood. They don't always say no. They just stop calling. And the cruelest part? He described an unsettling moment where he basically had to come out all over again to Bryan Cranston because hiding had trained him to treat his own relationship like contraband. The closet doesn't just hide you, it rewires you. It makes you lie by reflex, even when you hate the lie. Then, fast forward. Hunter marries Fielder Jewett. And yes, Cranston officiated the wedding. That's the plot twist silentfame lives for. The man he feared being honest around became the one blessing his vows. And still, Hunter has pointed out the irony. He's openly gay, but he's mostly played straight roles, even auditioning for gay ones and not booking them. The rules were never about talent. They were about comfort. He even name-dropped Jonathan Bailey as proof you can be out and still lead big franchises. But only if the gatekeepers stop flinching. So here's the debate. Should actors still feel pressure to look straight to get hired? Or is the industry finally changing because queer heartthrobs like Hunter are refusing to shrink? Comment your take, keep it respectful, and subscribe for more stories where the real drama isn't on the script. It's in what they were told to hide. 3. Ncuti Gatwa, the too much star. They tried to shrink. Ncuti walks on screen like the camera owes him money. The smile, the shoulders, the fashion that looks like it was stitched from confidence itself. In Sex Education, he made joy look dangerous, loud, glittering, untouchable. And when Doctor Who handed him the keys to a 60-year legacy, the internet didn't just react, it audited him. Because for some people, Ncuti wasn't just the new Doctor, he was too many firsts at once. He didn't rush to give the public a neat label, and that alone made the timeline itchy. Then he casually used the word queer to describe himself in an interview. And the moment hit different because it wasn't a PR rollout. It was a memory. Ncuti recalling meeting a queer Rwandan woman at Pride and admitting he'd never met another queer Rwandan person before. He thought he was the only one. Read that again. A man the world sees as fearless, once felt alone on an island only he could name. Now add the cruel math of fame, become the first Black Doctor, be openly queer, and suddenly every creative choice gets treated like a referendum on your right to exist. Since his casting, he's faced racist and homophobic backlash, and instead of begging for acceptance, he framed it like a tragedy on their side. He said, "It's really sad that people would stop watching a show they claim to love because of someone's appearance or race." He also said it warms his heart knowing little Black kids can see him and think, "Oh, I can be the Doctor," because the character can be anyone. On NPR, he reminded people the Doctor is literally a shape-shifting alien. It can be anyone, and that the franchise has always been about change. That's the mic drop. The character regenerates, but some viewers refuse to. So here's the question for the comments. Is the backlash about Doctor Who, or is it about who they think deserves a crown? And if you want more stories like this, hit subscribe. silentfame doesn't do fairy tales. We do receipts. Period. 4. Joshua Bassett, the Disney prince who blinked, and the timeline demanded a label. Joshua Bassett was built like a teen TV mirage. Soft curls, sad boy eyes, and that "I can fix him" energy that makes fans rewrite entire seasons in their heads. On High School Musical, the series, he played the kind of heartthrob the machine loves, marketable, romantic, and just ambiguous enough for everyone to project onto. Then, one clip changed everything. In May 2021, he casually gushed that Harry Styles was hot, and the internet treated it like a confession. Screenshots, stitches, reaction videos, think pieces. Joshua later told GQ he wasn't joking and said he was happy to be part of the LGBTQ+ community while also refusing to sprint into a label just to calm strangers down. And that's where the drama really is. The coming out moment wasn't a glossy cover story. It was a young guy getting watched in real time like his identity was content. Some fans cheered. Others turned it into a courtroom. Say the exact word. Prove it. confirm it. Joshua pushed back against the box, talking about how people love to tell you what you are and how exhausting it is to be interpreted by everyone except yourself. Here's the silent fame question. Is visibility still freedom if you only get it by surrendering privacy? Because when a teen heartthrob comes out, the industry doesn't always punish him with contracts anymore. Sometimes the fandom punishes him with entitlement. Drop your take. Do celebs owe the public a label? Yes or no? Comment it, and subscribe for more stories where the real plot twist is what fame tries to steal from you. 5. Karan Brar, the Disney smile that hit a spiral. Karan Brar was the kind of cute Disney made look effortless. Bright grin, warm eyes, and that sweetheart best friend charm that could melt a whole comment section. But behind the glossy Ravi Ross persona, he was living the most brutal version of the child star curse, a public life that looked perfect, while his private life was quietly collapsing. In a deeply personal Teen Vogue essay, Karan came out as bisexual, but he didn't package it like a victory lap. He wrote about grief after losing Cameron Boyce, about depression, anxiety, internalized homophobia, and the kind of pain that doesn't trend until it's almost too late. He described hitting a point where he admitted himself into inpatient treatment. That's not drama, that's survival. And the coming out moment? It wasn't fireworks. It was vulnerability, telling friends in a raw, unstable moment, expecting the world to tilt, and instead being met with love. The tragedy is how familiar this is. When you're the funny, cute one on TV, people forget you're allowed to be messy in real life. They want the smile, not the truth. They'll obsess over your looks, ship you with anyone breathing, then act shocked when you're actually human. So let's argue in the comments. Do audiences secretly prefer broken heartthrobs, as long as they stay silent about why they're breaking? Say it loud and subscribe, because Silent Fame isn't here for sanitized nostalgia. We're here for what it cost. 6. Amaury Lorenzo, the closeted cowboy who kissed a man and got death threats. Amaury Lorenzo has that dangerous kind of handsome, broad-shouldered, magnetic, the sort of face that makes a soap opera close-up feel illegal. On Terrifies, he played Ramiro, a tough, closeted cowboy type from the countryside who falls for Kelvin. Slow burn, tension, the kind of chemistry that makes viewers lean in like they're eavesdropping. Then the kiss happened, and instead of just fan reaction, the backlash got violent. Amaury publicly revealed he received homophobic abuse and death threats after the same-sex kiss aired, describing the aftermath as hellish, stepping away from social media while it all exploded. Let that land. A storyline about love, and people responded with threats. Amaury later came out publicly as part of the LGBTQ+ community, framing it like a responsibility. If you can stand in the light, you don't get to pretend you can't see the fight happening around you. This is where the comments are going to split. Some will say, it's just a show. Others will say, that's exactly why it matters. Because if a fictional kiss triggers real threats, then the culture is still fragile as glass. So, I want your take. Should TV keep pushing queer romance even when it draws danger? Or does that put actors in the crosshairs? Comment below and subscribe, because Silent Fame tells the truth even when the world tries to punish it. 7. Carlo Arrechea, the Latin teen crush who came out, then admitted he regretted it. Carlo Arrechea has the kind of face teen TV was built to worship. Clean-cut, dangerous brows, and that slow burn stare that makes you feel like you're the one being auditioned. For a lot of fans, he's not just another actor. He's a time capsule, Nick-era nostalgia, Latin TV heat, and the kind of charisma that turns a simple selfie into a full-blown comment war. But the real story isn't the thirst, it's the hiding. In October 2024, during National Coming Out Day, Carlo publicly came out as bisexual in an Out exclusive, framing it as finally choosing honesty after years of carrying it like contraband. And if you've ever lived inside a closet, you know the cruel part. It isn't one door. It's 1,000 tiny ones. Every audition, every "are you seeing anyone?" Every time you calculate how much truth is too much for the room. Then came the twist that made this feel painfully real. Days later, Carlo posted that he regretted coming out, describing the week after as overwhelming. That's the kind of sentence people love to weaponize. Some will say, "See? Don't come out." Others will say, "No, this is proof the world still punishes honesty." And that's exactly the silent fame tension. Coming out isn't always fireworks. Sometimes it's a hangover. Sometimes it's fear with a spotlight on it. Because when you finally stop hiding, you don't just gain freedom, you also gain an audience. And not all of them clap, some interrogate, some fetishize. Some turn your identity into a debate topic they feel entitled to win. So tell me in the comments, is it ever okay to say, "I regret coming out" without giving the haters ammo? And if you want more stories like this, hot, messy, human, hit subscribe. Silent fame is where the pretty faces meet the ugly pressure. 8. Alexander Lincoln, the rugby movie heartthrob who came out with one sentence. Alexander Lincoln is the kind of quiet hot that sneaks up on you, broad-shouldered, soft-eyed, built like a leading man, but with a calmness that feels almost intimate. He starred in queer rugby film In From the Side, and suddenly he wasn't just on screens. He was in fan edits, slow-motion montages, and comment sections full of people begging the same question. Are you actually gay? Or is it acting? And that's where the pressure spikes. In early 2023, a fan questioned his sexuality online, and Alexander replied with a single line. He said he's not straight with a heart emoji. No press tour, no magazine cover, just one sentence, and the internet exploded anyway. According to Attitude, headlines followed immediately, and the story surged hard enough to become one of the most read items of the day for at least one outlet. Here's the bi-drama of it. People claim they want authenticity until it's not packaged for them. Some fans celebrated. Some demanded specifics, labels, receipts, definitions, like "not straight" was a trailer, and they wanted the full episode. And years later, outlets were still revisiting the moment and asking him to elaborate on labels and identity. That's the new closet, isn't it? Not silence, constant clarification. Being hot on camera is easy. Being real off camera while strangers treat your identity like public property? That's the part that bruises. So I want the comments loud on this one. Do fans have a right to know an actor's label if they play queer roles? Or is "not straight" already more than enough? Drop your take and subscribe. Silent fame doesn't chase gossip. We chase the moment the mask slips and what it costs after. 9. Ronen Rubinstein, the pretty boy who refused to pick one box. He looks like a casting director's daydream. Sharp cheekbones, dark eyes that flirt even when he's standing still, and that dangerously gentle vibe that makes fans argue over whether he's the boyfriend or the problem. But for Ronen Rubinstein, the real tension wasn't a storyline. It was the pressure of being watched like a secret everyone felt entitled to solve. When Ronen publicly opened up about being bisexual, it wasn't a victory lap. It read like a man finally exhaling after holding his breath for years, because in this business, labels can feel less like truth and more like a risk assessment. Will the role offers change? Will the fandom turn support into interrogation? Will strangers online act like you owe them a full report on who you've loved? And here's the quiet tragedy. Bisexual men get hit from both sides. To some people, you're not gay enough. To others, you're not straight enough. You become a debate topic before you get to be a human being. Ronen didn't just come out. He stepped into a comment section courtroom where everyone thinks they're the judge. But that's what makes his story hit hard for silent fame. He didn't weaponize it. He didn't perform it. He just claimed it. And that kind of calm honesty is its own kind of rebellion, especially when your face is trending, your DMs are chaos, and the industry still acts like queerness is a complication instead of a fact. So let's argue. Do we actually support queer heartthrobs, or do we just fetishize them until they confess on command? Drop your take, because this isn't about sexuality being shocking. It's about the world acting like privacy is a lie. 10. Miles Heizer, the teen icon who let one photo say everything. Miles Heizer is the kind of soft hot that haunted an entire era of teen TV. Quiet voice, wounded eyes, and that ache you can't name energy that makes people watch you twice. On 13 Reasons Why, he lived inside the kind of darkness fans don't just binge, they carry. And when you become that kind of symbol, the world doesn't treat your life like yours anymore. It treats it like an extension of the show. So, when Miles posted a photo kissing actor Connor Jessup, it didn't feel like a press announcement. It felt like something more intimate, like he was choosing truth without turning it into a spectacle. No big speech, no brand-friendly statement. Just a moment. And the internet did what it always does. Celebrated, speculated, zoomed in, demanded definitions, tried to turn a single act of tenderness into a permanent label. That's the brutal irony of modern fame. If you say nothing, people accuse you of hiding. If you share one sliver, they demand the whole map. And Miles's story matters because it shows a different kind of courage, the courage to be seen without letting strangers rewrite you. He became a heartthrob in a world that profited off teen pain. Then he grew up and chose softness anyway. And that's the lesson a lot of people need. You don't owe anyone a timeline. You don't owe anyone a label. You owe yourself peace. So what's the real scandal here? Their queerness? Or the world acting like they owe us a label, a timeline, and their privacy? If any story hit you in the chest, drop a comment. Who paid the highest price, and where do fans cross the line? Keep it respectful, but keep it real. And if you want more messy truth behind pretty faces, subscribe to Silent Fame. We don't do fairy tales, we do receipts.